Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Winter Tech Camp. If you are from Emerging Generations, just wave for me or type it in the chat that you are from EG, Emerging Generations. If you are from Ivy Prep, where are you, Ivy Prep? Hey, welcome. I'm Miss Tanithia, and if you're from everywhere else, from all over the world, from wherever you're from, good morning. Yep, Ivy Prep in the house. Hello, Miss Motley. Welcome, 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 welcome. So I want to welcome you to 100 Girls of Code. We usually meet once a month, every fourth Saturday, and we are learning tons of things in STEM with a focus on programming and pretty much science and engineering. Not a lot of math things that we do. But if you want to stay in contact with us, follow us on Instagram at 100 Girls of Code. Hey, Kayla Rosales. Hey, Madison Rosales. And you can also follow us on Facebook if your parents allow you to have Facebook, or find us on YouTube. Just look us up, 100 Girls of Code Conyers. So I'm going to give it over to Miss Becky. She is our facilitator for creating video with arcade games this morning. So I'm going to turn it over to you. You got it. And good morning again.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to put something in the chat. Want you to go to arcade.makecode.com, and it doesn't take you straight to the one I want to do. I can't seem to find a link that goes straight to it. So when you go to that site, you will scroll down to find multi-part tutorials and select Wonder Woman 1984. And I need to do the same. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen.
You want me to put www.arcade with that?
I think you could just type arcade.makecode.com.
Okay.
And then it'll put all the rest for you.
Okay.
Let's see. Sorry, trying to find my downloads.
I just put the link in the chat if anyone needs to just click on the link to go there.
Yeah, I thought I tried to do that, but it don't quite work. Moving all by itself. There we go. That's the one that I wanted. Okay. Alrighty. So we are at arcade.makecode.com. You scroll down to multi-part tutorials, and we're going to click on this Wonder Woman 1984. And we are going to create a little maze game for Wonder Woman to travel through within a certain time and to collect points. And you can even take it a step further and create some enemies that she would have to avoid. But that definitely would take it up to a new level that we wouldn't have time for in an hour. Go ahead and click on over here on the orange Start Tutorial. So if you look at this example right here, this has where the maze is like a, some kind of a purplish background. And then she's got this one with the dots and everything is what we call, these are tiles, like over here on the edge. Those are a certain kind of tile. These with the polka dots are tiles, but the solid color is going to be your background. And so you can customize it however you want. I'm going to stick with these colors, but if you feel free to pick whatever colors and whatever tiles you want to use when you do yours. So let's go ahead and click on OK. And This is just, you know, if you need some tips, it's got it right up here, but I'm going to walk you through this so you don't have to hopefully do that. All right. We have our little game player over here, and we're going to design the little scene and be able to play it. So you're going to click on the little sprites toolbox drawer. They call these little drawers. And so we're going to click on sprites and grab the set my sprite to block and drag it into the on start block. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to create Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman's not one of the sprites that is available. So if you click on this little gray spot right now, this is where you can go. And if you don't feel very artistic and you're not, you know, feeling comfortable with drawing this, which I'm going to show you, it's going to be really easy. You can actually go to gallery and you can pick anything you want to be your little player. It doesn't even have to be Wonder Woman. You can pick a player that could go through the maze. You can just pick one of these at your will, and then you would come back here, it would show up here, and then you would click done, but we're not going to do that. I don't know what just happened to my, whoa. I'm going to go back. Let's see what happened. Okay. So what I'm going to do is bring up Wonder Woman here for you. I was trying to make it so I would have two screens this morning, but I was unsuccessful. All right, so we're trying to draw this. Let me see if I can y'all still see Wonder Woman right now? Or do you
Not
just
anymore.
Not anymore?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I need to figure out a different way to share this. Let me do a new share. I need, let's do the screen. Yeah, I'll do the screen instead. Let me get rid of these images here. Get that out of the way. And I'll just put you up there. Okay, so you should be able to now see my Wonder Woman over there, over here. Try to move her a little bit. Okay, and then this one, sorry, I'm trying to do this with one computer screen and it's not fun. Okay. Let's, oh, okay, there we go. If you make a mistake, there's an eraser over here. You can click on the eraser, or if you just click on this tile right here, that means that that takes away the color. So what you want to do is you want to grab the pencil, which should be with a box around it by default. And so you grab that pencil, and we want to duplicate Wonder Woman if that is what you choose to do. You don't have to do Wonder Woman. You could, like I said, you could draw anything you want in here, or you could go pick from the gallery. So I'm going to just show you how to duplicate Wonder Woman if you want to. First, I'm going to start with that top center yellow square. So I'm going to grab the yellow color and make sure you've got the pencil selected, or it's called paint tool. It looks like a pencil to me. Make sure that you've got the pencil paint tool thing selected, select the color yellow. You can see what you have here. And I'm just going to come up to the top, middle somewhere, and I don't think I have this thing. Let me see.
Miss Becky, do you mind starting over again from where you went to the website, and what was the next step? Were they supposed to grab a figure from the gallery?
So when we were back here, you had to click on that gray box, and then we're going to actually draw Wonder Woman. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, or you could draw your own, you can click on gallery. So I'm in the editor up here. You can click on gallery, and you could select one. Like I could select this duck, and if I wanted to select that duck, I would click done, and it would show up right here. But I don't want to do that. I want to actually make Wonder Woman. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to clear this. I'm going to click on the little gray and white checkers, and you could just like color erase everything that way, or I can click on this little fill tool. It looks like a little paint can spilling over. You could click on it that way.
There's a question in the chat. Okay, can we pause for a second? So Miss Becky's volunteers, can you guys kind of follow the chat? So if you guys get lost, please don't send a private text, kind of put it out there so that way if someone is more familiar, they can help you out. So Ms. Jones asks, can you show them the first block of code that you did so they know how to get to where you are in editor and gallery view?
Okay. The instructions are right here. Open sprites, grab the Set My Sprite to block, drop this block in the OnStart block. Okay, so I'm going to start over. Go to sprites, grab the Set My Sprite to block, drop this block into the OnStart block, and then you're going to click on the gray box. Okay, and so now I'm going to show you how to draw Wonder Woman. So come over here. By default, you should have this one on the far left with a box around it. It looks like a pencil. It's called the paint tool. That should be selected by default. And then I'm going to pick the color yellow first. So I'm going to start with the top of her crown because it's at the center and at the top. So I'm going to go to the top, and I mean, you could go to the very, very top, or you can come down one, and it actually doesn't allow me to put it at the dead center. I got to choose one of these that are sort of in the center. So just put one there, and then duplicate those 3 yellow parts of her little crown that she wears. And we're going to go down from there. I'll come back and do her hair last. So I'm going to choose the red for the next part of her crown. And I can see I've got 1 block in between the yellows. And then for the little band that goes across her forehead there, it goes just 1 block beyond that yellow and 1 block beyond that little yellow on the left and the right. And then let me know if I need to slow down. I'm not watching the chat, so somebody else will have to speak up if I need to slow down.
Okay.
So now I'm going to do her face. And if I look over here, it looks like I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks across and 1, 2, 3 blocks going down for her face. So I got this little flesh tone down here on the right side, second from the bottom. You could choose any tone you want. If you know, if you even want to make a pink person, you know, you do whatever you want. But if you want to match this color here, that's where it is. And I'm going to do 5 across, 3 down, and I draw her face. And it's okay that I colored that in without the eyeballs. I can still go down here and grab this brown on the bottom left, and then come back and place those eyeballs. Now I'm going to draw her neck. I go back and choose that flesh tone and draw the neck. Just trying to duplicate these colors. So I'm going to pick red for the shirt. And then blue for the pants. And it looks like they're 3 by 2 for the shirt and the pants. Okay, I'm going to draw her arms. And it looks like the arm comes down 1 next to the blue, and then her legs. Oh, but I need to come back and add. She's got a little belt on with it has a little yellow buckle in the middle. And then she also has yellow armbands. And then she has red shoes, I suppose. So we got her, except for her hair. So I can go grab the black and let's just try to draw the hair as best we can.
Excuse me, Miss Fisher.
Yes.
Someone is lost. Can you explain the whole thing again?
How to draw this?
Yeah.
So you're basically just trying to grab the colors from the palette over here to duplicate Wonder Woman. And guys, we're not going to spend a lot of time with Wonder Woman. So if you're having trouble duplicating Wonder Woman, feel free to just go grab one from the gallery. And it doesn't have to be exactly like this, guys. This is your player, okay? But to draw these, you pick the little paint tool and you just pick colors and you just put them wherever you want. And if you don't like a color, you can go and grab that gray and white one. And the gray and white is actually like not going to be part of the image at all. So that's basically erasing colors. So if I were to go and start doing like this, it's like I'm erasing the colors if I have the gray and white tile. So, but if I want my black back, then and again, if you mess up, you just go in and adjust it. Let's see. I guess that looks like her. But if you just want to pick one, you click on gallery up here and you just pick any from the gallery and then you click done. Whoops. You go down here and you click the green done. So this activity is not about drawing these. So if that's a struggle for you, just pick one from the gallery so we can go to the next step. All right, so go ahead and come back, click done. And when you come back here, I want you to click next up here on the right so we can get the next instructions. And I'll give y'all just a minute to make sure everybody has got their sprite selected. So if you're just joining and you click on arcade.makecode.com, you also have to go down and to the multi-part tutorials section and select Wonder Woman. It's like a little purple background. It says Wonder Woman 1984. And again, as far as picking a sprite, guys, it's as easy as just going clicking on that gray square, go into the gallery and picking a character to get you going. You can always come back and change that character at another time, but we're going to go on to the next step, okay? And this tutorial walks you through everything. So if you are getting lost, make sure you go up here and read what's happening because I'm just walking you through exactly what it's saying up here. So if you clicked next, you should now see in the controller drawer. So they call these little drawers in the controller drawer. We're going to click that. It says grab the move my sprite with buttons block. So we're going to grab it, like hold your mouse down, grab it, drag it, and it has to come right after you set your sprite. So
They are looking for where is connect. Someone asked a question.
what was the question? Sorry.
Someone asked where was connect. Where is connect?
I don't even know what connect is. What is that?
Okay. Who was that asked that question?
Oh, I think for clarification, your connect. So this is a block-based coding language that we're using today, and you're connecting the blocks of code like puzzle pieces. So when she was referring to connecting, that's actually like bringing the puzzle pieces over and putting them together. I'm not sure if that clarifies, but I think that's what it was.
Okay. I thought they were talking about it like clicking on something to connect.
Yeah, I
Okay.
did too. So, a question. Okay, so Jasmine, this is your very first time actually dealing with code. Is that true? Is that correct, Jasmine?
I am not seeing the chat and I don't know
Okay,
why.
so- I don't know. I can make you, I need to make you a co-host also.
What? I
Yeah,
don't know
when
where
she's in the presenter view, it's gonna be like
Yeah.
that little bar at the top, and the chat sometimes goes random places, so it's
It
kind of
does.
difficult to see the chat when
Mhm.
you're
Well,
presenting.
I'm gonna change my share. I was doing that so I could have two things showing at the same time. I'm gonna change it where I'm just looking at that one screen. Hopefully I can see the chat now. Let's see. No, I'm still not seeing it.
Yeah, it's usually gonna be up at like.
Oh,
up
I
at-
got it now. I see it now. Oh, Lordy. Oh, this virtual teaching is so much fun. Okay. All right. All right. Good. So are we ready to continue? All right. Okay. So what we did after the first step, we added the set sprite. Again, when you click on that gray box, you're just going to go pick one from the gallery or draw your own. Feel free to come back and explore that at a later time. Just make sure you have something here instead of just a gray square. And then you can change the name of your sprite. I'm just going to leave it as called My Sprite. And so this is like, it's given it a name. So like, if you ever want to refer to that, so your character on your game is called a sprite. And in this particular game, that's going to be just called My Sprite. So down here, we went to controller and we grabbed move My Sprite with buttons. And we dragged that block into the OnStart and connected it to the previous block, like a puzzle piece. And so what this is doing is this is referring to the sprite that we just set, because you can actually create several sprites when you make games. So we're just going to leave it as called My Sprite. And so this button, this block here has some code written somewhere else. It's already been written for you to make your character move around the screen with the left, right, up and down arrows. So you can actually try it now. If you were to come over here and try moving, you can click on the actual game piece over here, or you can use your arrow keys on your computer to move her around. And her black hair on that black background is, blending, but we're going to change that in the next screen. So now you know how to get her to move around. All right, let's move on. From the scene toolbox drawer. So it says scene, go down here and find scene. Get the set background color block and drop it onto the OnStart and connect it to the previous puzzle pieces. And now this is where you're going to pick your background. And if you remember at the beginning, if you were here in the beginning, I showed you a little maze of what this little Wonder Woman could look like. And the actual path that she will go will be whatever you choose here. This is the color that will be the color of her path. And you can come back and change this if you don't like it, but go ahead and pick a color. I'm going to just try to keep mine like the example. So I'm going to pick this lighter shade purple here. You can pick any color you want. Again, this will be the path that she will be following. And then we're going to put tiles on and on top of this so that we can create our maze. Okay, I'm going to go click next. Okay, now this is where it's going to get really, really tricky. And you're really going to want to pay attention to this. So first, I mean, these instructions right here are pretty straightforward to get the set tile map block. Go to the scene toolbox drawer, drag and drop a set tile map. So you find that block that says set tile map 2, and then just drag it on here. And then to figure out how to actually set that tile map, we need to click next to go to the next instructions.
Do we need to slow down for a second that everyone knows where we are? You guys good? Put a thumbs up in your window. Let us know that you are following along and you're caught up to where she is. Thank you. If you need help, put a thumbs down in the window right now. And if your cameras are off, would you mind please turning your cameras on for us? Thank you.
So if you're looking at my screen right now, this is a demonstration of what we're going to be doing. So we picked a background, and that background is just going to end up being the color of our path. But now we actually have to draw, I mean, we have to design our, the look of our game with a, we're going to fill it with one tile. Now, if you get crazy, you can actually come up with all kinds of crazy designs, and you don't have to use one tile. Okay, I haven't done anything right now. For simplicity, we're going to just use one tile and fill it in. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is just pick a tile, fill the whole thing, and then you're just going to use the eraser to draw a path. Okay, so that's all that's showing. It's just demonstrating what's going to happen. Okay, so back in the previous step, you should have added this set tile map 2, and now you have a gray box. That gray box is basically going to be what this whole scene is going to be. So we have to go and customize our tile map. So click on, okay, and I want you to read up here in the set tile map block, click on the gray box to choose a color or tile for the walls of your maze. Then use the bucket fill tool to fill in the entire canvas with the tile you selected. And then we'll use the eraser tool to draw the path for the maze. All right, let's click on the gray box. Stay with me. Pick a tile, okay? You can actually go and create some of your own tiles eventually. Later on, we're not going to do that now. But let's just go to the gallery. You've got some options. You have some tiles here that you can choose under forest. You can go to aquatic and choose some of these. Dungeon. And then there's miscellaneous. So just pick one tile for now. Let's keep it simple. So I'm going to pick this this plain old silver, I mean plain old purple with little light pink dots right here in the center, not with the edges. Don't worry about the edges. You can come back and do all that craziness later if you want to, but just pick one tile and then come up here, and there's a little tool right here. If you hover over it, it's called the fill tool. It looks like a paint can that you're pouring paint on. So if you select that, then it will take the tile you have selected here and it will fill that entire screen with that same tile. I'll give you a minute, make sure everybody's on that. Okay. So the next step, let's go ahead and let's click done. Let's go back to what we have. Okay, so you picked one tile, you choose the fill tool, fill that whole thing with that same tile. Go ahead and click the green done button. Okay, and And I want you to see, once it refreshes, you see how the whole scene over here now has an overlay of that tile. So, you know, you might be thinking, well, why did we set the background if we're just going to overlay it with a tile? Well, you'll see. So we have to go back. The next step, if you read these instructions, next, use the eraser tool to draw the path for the maze. So we have to go back to the tile map. They actually suggested you do that all in one, but I just wanted y'all to come back here and see it. So let's click that tile map block again, and let's go back and finish what we were supposed to do. Go and select the eraser tool. So when you hover over these, this one is, it actually kind of looks like an eraser, but depends on what kind of erasers you've used. It's called an eraser tool, and it's the second one on the top. Click on it. And what you want to do is you want to just draw a maze. Okay, you want to think about where do you want her to start and where do you want her to finish. So you're just erasing to create a maze. And if you mess up, you can always go and pick that same tile again. Make sure you have the pencil, and you know, you can come back and redraw some tiles if you erase some that you didn't want to. But then make sure you change it back to eraser tool to finish drawing your maze. And just, you know, draw it real crazy, whatever you want to do. There's also Control Z if you want to undo. I didn't like what I just drew, so make it too complicated. You might have a hard time making it through, but you are basically just erasing some tiles so that she has a path. And what you see right here, right now, is gray and white squares. And it looks like that's not what your path is going to look like. What's going to actually show up there is that background color that you chose. So let's say you chose a different tile and now you want to go back and change your background. Well, you just go back to that tile and click on that color and you change that color background. Once you have erased a path for your maze, you click on the green done, and then it will take a second to refresh, and then you will see it sort of show up. Now you might be thinking, well, that's not the whole thing. If you look here, you can sort of see a very small version where it says the set tile map 2. You can see a small version of what you just created, but you're not seeing the whole thing in this window. And that's because this window is only that top left corner. And we're going to add some code that will have her stay at the center of the screen, and the scene will move as she moves, so that you're actually kind of zoomed in on a certain portion of it at a time. Are we ready to click next? Let me know if you need one more little instruction before we click next.
Your Diana says, can you explain about pressing for everything?
About pressing, what?
Can you unmute, Diana? What do you mean?
Yeah, and Jemiah also has a question in the chat too.
Do I have to press anything for the tile to show? I think you mean click. Do you need to click anything for the tile to show? I think you had gone back to the set, was it set the tile map in order for you to see the tile?
Okay, so if I go back to here, I can actually just start over real quick. Let's see, how do I do that? Oh, I don't know how to do that. Oh, my mouse is going weird. Okay. I thought I could just fill it all with the eraser, but I can't, so I'm having to erase it all. Alrighty. Okay, so this is what you started with. If I could get it to stop doing that. Oh my gosh, y'all, my mouse is very sensitive and I don't know why. Okay, so if you select your tile, make sure that when you select a tile down here, make sure you see it in this little block where my cursor is. And then you just click on this fill tool and then click anywhere and it'll fill the entire thing with that same tile. And then to draw your path. What is going on with this? Y'all, what is happening to my screen here? I don't know. Okay, so click on the eraser to draw your path. Once you have it filled with your tiles, you will click on the eraser, which is on that top row, the second one from the left on the top row, eraser tool, and you just go in and drag around to create a maze. Once you have finished your maze, you then click on the green Done button at the bottom. Getting this tile map set up was the most complicated thing. I remember when we were doing this before, I actually got lost when she was explaining it too. So I get it. We still have another thing we have to do to fix our maze. Can I go on?
I don't see any more questions in the chat. Everybody caught up? If you're caught up, put a thumbs up in your window. If you are caught up to where she is. Awesome. Anybody not? If you're not, put a thumbs down so we'll know that we need to assist you. Okay, I don't see any thumbs down. I think we are good.
Okay, good. All right, so we have created our set tile map. We added a tile, we filled it. We used the eraser tool to draw the path for the maze. And notice that my background is showing up as the color of the path because I chose that here. So if you don't like your background color now, after you picked your tile, you could always change that. Click next. Now we must outline the walls of the maze. So you have to specify the area around the maze so that she cannot get outside of the path. If you're basically drawing an invisible wall, what you're seeing on my screen is a demonstration. This is not me doing it right now. This is just a demonstration. You should be able to see this when you click next. They're just demonstrating what's going to happen. We're going to draw borders around our path so that it's going to keep her from getting off the path. You won't actually see this in the actual game. When you draw those walls, it looks like you're drawing something red on top of your screen, but that red is not, it's actually going to be invisible once you go to the game. So you're drawing these invisible walls that are going to keep her from moving, okay? So I'm going to click OK. So what we have to do is go back and select that tile that you just created. Set tile map, click in that little gray box with your scene that you set. And it says in the tile map editor, click on the red wall icon. And from what I remember yesterday, it's actually not red until you do click on it. So that's a little confusing. Then draw the walls around your maze path. Using this tool, highlight all the walls that Wonder Woman should not be able to walk through. So click on your little tile map. And it said to click on the red wall. Guys, it's not red. Look, it is this one right here. So pay attention. You see my cursor circling around this little tile here. This is what they're talking about. It is not red, but when you click on it, it does become red. Okay. I clicked on it. Now it's red. So what I have to do is I have to go along both sides of my path, and I have to draw an invisible wall. Again, this red will not show up in your game. It's just right now letting you know where you have drawn some invisible walls. And you want it to be on both sides of your path, because this will prevent your character, your sprite, from getting outside of the path. What I just did was I did one side of my path. I have to make sure that I have it on the other side of my path. Any questions? Like the green done button after you finished blocking the sides of your path. All right, click done. All right, we're not quite ready to try her out just yet. Couple more things we still have to do to our tile map. So go ahead and click next. And then now we are going to do, we are going to create 2 new tiles to indicate our start and our ending of our path. And so, sorry guys, I'm trying to do 2 things at one time. Give me just a second. Okay. All right. So we have to designate, if you go back and look at this tile map, we have to tell the program where we want Wonder Woman to start, or your sprite, whatever your sprite is, whether it's Wonder Woman or not. Where do you want your sprite to start when you start the game? And where do you want her to finish? Where do you want your sprite to finish when you finish the game? So in order to do that, we need to pick some unique tiles. We're going to pick 2 different tiles that we haven't done yet, okay? So in the tile map editor, choose a new tile from the gallery to be the start location for Wonder Woman. Place it at the beginning of the maze. All right, let's just take those first 2 sentences and work with that first. So go to click on your tile map, and you want to just pick a different tile that you have not used. And it doesn't even have to be from the same area. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to pick this brick. Pick anything. Just pick a unique tile, one that you have not already used, and place it where you want your sprite to start. I'm going to place mine up here at the top left. You don't have to start there. You start wherever you want to. But that's where I'm going to place that tile to indicate where I want her to start.
Can you repeat that, please, for people in the back?
Okay, first 2 sentences back here. in the tile map editor, which is this right here, you click on your tile map editor here, or you see my cursor is, choose a new tile, one you haven't used yet, from the gallery to be the start location for Wonder Woman or whatever your sprite is. Place it at the beginning of your maze, wherever you want your maze to begin. You go to your tile map editor, find any unique tile that you haven't already used. Select it and click where you want her to start. I chose this brick and I clicked right here. If you see where my cursor is moving, that's where I want her to start. So I place one tile, one unique tile to indicate her start location. And then you click done. Okay. Then you need to get the place my sprite on top of random. Now, it doesn't tell you what drawer to get it from, but if you look at the color of this block, place my sprite on top of random, look at that color and you find the same color down here. It's called scene. So I'm going to go to scene and that's where I'm going to find that place my sprite on top of random. Okay, so you need that block. And this is where you're going to indicate where your sprite should start. So remember, my sprite is the name of the sprite you created. And this block's going to say, place my sprite on top of random. And it says random because you might have several tiles of that, but we only have one. So it's really not going to be random. So you have to click on this arrow to select that unique tile that you just chose. And mine ended up being those bricks. Whatever tile you chose as your starting block, you want to choose that so that that's where your sprite will start when you start the game. Oh boy. Okay. All right, so now we have to indicate where we want her to finish. So, and again, it doesn't tell you which drawer it is, but follow the color code. So this little block right here, it says camera follow sprite. Find that same color, which is the scene, and drag the block that says camera follow sprite. And that way, the focus of your game will always be on your sprite. So we set up our tile map with our path and drew our indivisible walls. And then we created a new tile at the beginning that would be her starting place. So then you have a block that says place my sprite on top of that random tile. It's not really random because you only put one, but you had to select the tile that you had placed at the start in your tile map. But to get her to actually stay in focus, you have to have this block, camera follow sprite. So you can come over here and try it now. And when you start playing, you notice your sprite is going to start at that tile that you put at the start. So if I start moving her, If I try to go up right now, she can't because the wall is blocking. I can't go down, the wall is blocking. I can only stay on the path because I drew those walls. If you didn't draw those walls right, then she might be able to get off the path. You don't want that to happen. So right now you should be able to move her. And you'll see that because we did camera follow sprite, she is going to stay in focus and it's going to move the scene around her, where she pretty much kind of stays sort of in the middle. And you just keep moving her like this. Okay, and then I'm going to keep going, but we still have to go and specify the end of our maze because right now there's no goal in mind. And so what I need to do is I need to put another tile at the end so that it will show that she's made it through the path. So let's click next. And it says, go back to your tile map. Okay, remember that block that says set tile map 2. Click on your little design. Go back to your tile map. Choose a new tile from the gallery to be the end location of the maze. Place it where you want to be the end. So again, go back to that block that says set tile map 2. Open up the tile. And remember how we had to pick a unique tile to represent our starting block? Let's go ahead and find some other tile, another unique tile that you have not already used. So I'm just going to pick this little bush or flower, whatever it is, and I'm going to place it where I want it to be the end of my maze. Okay. So I put it at the end of my maze, that one tile. So we have you have one unique tile to indicate the start and one unique tile to represent the end of your maze. It has to be a tile that you did not use already. Click on the green done. Click next. Okay, notice the color coding again. So this color up here on, now drag a on sprite of kind overlaps. So that color, it belongs in the scene. I'm gonna go to scene. And that's this whole big block right here. On sprite of kind player overlaps. We need this big old block right here. And drag it. This is not going to go inside your on start. This is a block of its own. You could actually drag it down below or you could drag it to the side, but it's a separate block set. Give me just a second. I'm going to check. Okay, so we drag that into the workspace. It does not go into start block. Click on the checkered tile, that little gray and white checkered tile, and let's choose that end tile that you just put on your maze to indicate the end of your maze. What's going to happen with this block is when sprite, that is a kind of player. So if I go back up here, when I created my sprite, my Wonder Woman was a kind of player. So when some sprite that is a player type ends up overlapping that particular tile at some location, we want it to end the game. So get a game over block. It's purple. Go to the purple game drawer and drag over the game over. Put it inside that on sprite of kind overlaps, switch it to win. Now, when Wonder Woman overlaps this tile, she'll get out of the maze and win the game. And guys, I do have to have this done by 10 o'clock. I have to go do another session. So I'm going to real quickly, you can try that out, but I'm going to go to the next step. Denithia Julian is another volunteer of mine. Just this is one last thing, is to add a countdown. So if you look at the color, it's kind of like a pinkish color. Go to that pinkish drawer info and drag that start countdown. And this needs to go back up into the start menu. Whoops, went too far up. And change it, 10 seconds is too fast. You might want to change it to 20. I even made one of my mazes too complicated and I had to change it to 30. And so you should be able to play with it now. I will say that when you click next and you try it out, guys, there is a click on this link. There is several more tutorials. There are tutorials that explain how you can add little items that you can collect so she can score points. There's also, after that, there's another tutorial that walks you through adding enemies. And so you can continue playing this, you know, further.
Quick question, Ms. Becky.
Yeah.
There's a question in the chat before you end. Can you show them how to download the file they created?
Okay.
How to share the they created?
All right. So what happens with this is if you do download, it actually, well, honestly, I don't like the way that this download works. What I usually do is share. Where's that at? No. Okay, if I click finish, and guys, you can come back and edit it. If I click finish, instead of doing download, click finish. And if you publish project, you click on finish at the top right and then publish project when you get that window. You can save that, you can copy that and save it, and then you can always come back to it by going to that URL. But you would have to save it. This will save on your computer. It doesn't save with a particular login. So let me show you. So I'm going to click copy, but if I go back to home, I can see, as long as I'm logged into the same computer, I can see all these ones that I have created, but it's not attached to my login. So if I go to another computer and try to go to Microsoft Make Code, it doesn't bring these up. But what I can do is, and this is definitely a lot further, something for another session, I actually have a GitHub account. So when I go back and I bring it up, I end up getting this right here and I can load it to my GitHub account and then I can always pull it up there, but that's for another session. But for now, I would just click finish in the top right and do publish, and then you can share your link. So
okay, so that answered the question for Sydney. Sydney, the finish button is in the top right.
Yeah,
if
you're still in the tutorial. I'm not in the tutorial anymore.
She said it's in the top right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Miss Becky. And ladies, this is being recorded. So what I will do is at the end, I'm going to stop it right here. Stop recording so that I can give you all the chance to take a quick restroom break.